What's up? I'm Tank StarCraft here with a ZvP replay analysis. Today we're going to be looking at a Platinum Zerg, and Tommy, I definitely want to congratulate you on recently getting that promotion to Platinum. And going to take a look at this ZvP game. I'm loving the ZvP matchup. I just feel like the Roach timing, early Roach aggression is so strong in this matchup because it hits at about 4:15 to 4:30, which is really before Protoss has too much. Especially, obviously, if they're taking their expansion. And I noticed Tommy gave me some notes on this game. And he said that he just built the army to defend and then maxed out after, like without attacking. And I don't know whether that's quite optimal with this type of build. Just because we are making so many roaches and stuff early. That I think it's just going to end up putting you behind if you try to do that. So let's see how the opening goes. And I'll talk a bit about how you would approach this if you wanted to do a more macro-oriented style. So this is good. The hatch on 17, exactly what you want. And then you should see the gas on 18. Yes, good. And then the pool. Pool. A little behind there, but that's okay. Gas filled nicely. No drones with minerals in their mouth. And so here's how it would look. Like in a standard macro game, if you were doing this type of opening, it's fine. All you would do is take out a gas at 100, start speed, and then just build your queens, some lings, and go back into droning. And that's really all you need if you're trying to play macro and take a third and stuff. It's just the early ling speed. You probably wouldn't do something like build the Roach Warren or any more gas. I love that the Overlord's moving all the way across the map. Should scout this expansion. That's really what you want to see. You know, I'm actually not sure, but I think that this Overlord could even be sent like right to here, like all the way through. And it'll be before a Stalker comes out, and you'll be able to scout whether he's gone gateway here, like the Cyber Core, whether he has 2 gateways, and also the expansion. So I think you can do that on Prion. Just send it right up to here, right at the start of the game. And okay, let's see what Tommy goes for. So should see the speed and the queens. Yeah, good. One note I want to make is right away should transfer like 8 to 10 workers, like even before this expansion finishes, just before. Because on the gold, it's really nice to get the mineral economy early. And also when you do that split, you want to make sure that you're sending 5 or 6 here and 5 to 6 here. Because just a funny thing about this map, if you send like 8 or 12 here, sometimes they'll just only mine these 3 patches. They won't bounce off and go to the other ones. So I noticed the second gas. I think in ZvP, honestly, that you don't need the second gas. I think it's all about hitting with the roaches earlier, especially because if we look at what the opponent's doing, he's going for like the world's earliest expansion with Stargate, like a 2-minute 20 Stargate. So this is really the kind of situation where you're just trying to get those 8 roaches out and to his base by like just after 4 minutes. You don't really want to wait. You don't really need the second gas. And just to expand a little bit more, in ZvP, you really need the Ravagers to break through bunkers, like to kill stuff up on the high ground if you have the Overlord, and break through depots and get in. ZvP, not as much. I feel like the Roaches and the Lings alone are enough to break the pylons, and that's what it's all about. In this matchup, it's like, it comes down to seconds of just depowering stuff and killing everything. So I don't think you need the second gas in this matchup. You can actually afford a few Ravagers by the time you get to his base, just off the 1 gas. I think you can afford 1 or 2. And that's plenty. That's more than you need. Couple Overlords, good. Some Queens. Yeah, the one big fundamental thing is just not having drones at the expansion. It's definitely worth that transfer time just to be mining the extra money at the gold. What is the opponent doing? Oracle or Phoenix? Oracle, cool. We'll see how we deal with that. These types of builds can be a little annoying because the way it should go is like right here we have lots of money and gas and stuff. Just imagine though with me, Tommy, if you hadn't taken the second gas, and so you had only about 200 gas, but your minerals were up to like 500 or 600. You'd be able to afford the 5 roaches here right away, and then you'd click here and build however many, like 3 or 4 quickly, and then you hotkey them all, and you get them moving out right away. And I think you'd be able to get there, break the pylons, and kill this player. But instead, like, we're going to have a lot of gas, and I'm not sure whether really it's going to pay off. We do get a good amount of roaches. Now here, it would be nice to build them all in the main first, and then at the expansion, as opposed to scattered. But this is good, getting lots of roaches. Probably should have one more Overlord. I like to be up to, like, 60 potential supply, or sometimes even 68, depending on how it's feeling. Okay, so it will be the quick Oracle. Do we know about it? Okay, so this is going to tell us that he has the Stargate. Will there be a spore or anything? Yeah, actually, that's a good response. Actually, technically, could have seen it with the Overlord. Like, I think the Oracle ran by, but I mean, even sometimes in my games, I don't notice stuff like that. But yeah, here, seeing this, I think it's a good idea to get this spore, and it's going to help a lot. Because this one queen, actually, if this Oracle came in, it could kill this queen and kill pretty much like 6-7 of these workers if you did nothing. So if that were the case, like if this Oracle flies right in, you pretty much just want to do this, like box everything and click this mineral, like run it all away, because it will kill the queen, it will kill all your workers. That's why you need the spore, or you need a second queen in the mineral line. But the big thing I want to emphasize is this is absolutely, like, I think what you want to avoid doing is building all these roaches and then using them defensively, because if we look at our opponent, like, he's not going to attack us on the ground for at least like 6 minutes, I think, at the earliest, maybe 5. But especially after having gone Stargate, like, he's never going to attack us on the ground. So it's actually really important right now that you be arriving at about this point at the front, and you can see but 420, 430 is when you're arriving, and he doesn't have a whole lot to defend. In fact, this Oracle has cost him the Mothership Core, which is the real key to defending this type of early aggression. So he's not going to have any kind of energy to be putting down a lot of photon overcharge. So the way I'd be thinking about it is, like, right here is your army. You move up, you snipe the pylons, you get into the main, like maybe he force fields you once or whatever. And then you get to this pylon even before this finishes. And this will finish around, just looking at it, 5 minutes or so. But basically, if you kill these pylons, he has no production at all, and then you just kill his whole economy. Even if he has the Void Ray there attacking your Lings and stuff, it's not enough damage output for him. You just end up killing all his workers. So the spores are definitely right, but the sticking back home with the army is not, because he could definitely be here by now. And just look at how weak our opponent is. Should be seeing... Yeah, okay, into the drones here. So we are going to transition now that we feel safe. But I feel like here's where we got to just stop and look at the income. And it's substantially in favor of the Protoss. So that's what I mean. Like, you have to do damage to justify this type of investment, or you just end up behind. And, like, even just the gas disparity. Notice I talked earlier about maybe not needing the 2 gas against Protoss. This is why. Because right now, like, we would ideally like to have the full mineral economy on the 2 bases. But taking the second gas, we've actually just banked up a lot of, in my opinion, kind of useless gas. Because our layer's not even close to done. We don't really have any way to use it. So I think in this matchup, it's actually better to stay on the lower gas count, get the third a little faster, drone the 2 bases on the mineral front a bit harder, and then later add additional gases to make up for the fact that you've delayed them a bit. So you will eventually, with ZvP, go up to a total of 6 gas, but you might be on 1 for a really long time. 1 or 2. So okay, even here, like, we're investing the gas, which is good, but it's cutting into our mineral economy, and we're just falling kind of irreparably. Is that how you pronounce that? Behind the Protoss player. And yeah, with the Void Rays, he's getting Immortals. Not yet, but this is going to be tough. He's got all the tech he needs, and we're just now getting our lair. Spire's an interesting choice. Roach Muta is absolutely possible. Like, it can work. You can do something like fly the Mutas into the main while your whole Roach army attacks, right? So he pulls back, and you can do a lot of multi-pronged stuff. But in general, I think I'm actually going to recommend the Roach Hydra composition for mid-game ZvP, like with 2 Evo chambers. Because I just feel like it trades a lot better in straight-up fights. And that's often what's going to happen, especially on a map like this, is you're going to be taking big fights in the middle. So having like a big Roach Ravager sorry, not Ravager, but a Roach Hydra army, and like spread it all out here, big wide concave, you can trade with almost any mid-game Protoss stuff. Overseers, though, I love. Just a small note, though, like 3 is maybe a few too many. Like 2 would be better. But I just realized he had Phoenix, so he kind of shut down your Overlord that was over here. But ideally, yeah, you'd like to have one Overseer be flying into his main now, just to kind of get a sense of, is he building more gateways to attack me? Is he getting like 5 Stargates and I need to prepare for that? Stuff like that. But I really feel this game is really just coming down to the economy. Protoss has been ahead for so long. The difference isn't as bad now, but we still don't have a third base. It's actually blocking our third. Could take it here. Oh, it looks like you will. I like to take this one on this map like every time. Why not take the gold? It's a little further, so technically a little harder to get creep there, but I still think it's better. And this is why you want to start that third earlier, because the main's going to be mining out about 7 minutes. And it'd be nice to transfer like half of these over to this base a little earlier. Do we have all the gas? Just now getting up to 4 gas. We're still a little below where we want to be economically. Do we have any mutas? Yeah, a couple mutas on the field. Mutas are tough to go in ZvP. Like, they can definitely work, but it's scary when your opponent opens Stargate just because of how strong Phoenix are. So maybe you want to scout before committing to mutas. And in general have I keep saying Roach Ravager, Roach Hydra as your go-to mid-game approach. A little late on this Evo chamber. Maybe could have got 2 earlier. Like if we had taken all the gases earlier. Get those upgrades coming. How are we doing on the income front? Yeah, still quite behind in the income. So I really feel like the early game is what we need to focus on. But mid-game we'll talk about a bit more too, and just having a stronger straight-up engage force. Because like I said, these mutas can work, but they're not really meant to take straight-up fights like with the roaches and stuff. I know the kind of theory is that they can add a lot of DPS because they're in the air, but really they're quite flimsy, they die really fast, and their output isn't incredible as far as fights go. Like, you would definitely want the Hydras in the back to have that extra range and just be doing a lot more damage. Because what happens is the mutas end up just flying in ahead and pretty much getting annihilated by anything. Like Stalkers, Void Rays even do pretty well, Sentries, and Phoenix just eat them alive. Archons, forget about it. So I think you're probably better off with the Hydra option here. And then all your upgrades are consolidated, right? You get the armor and the range, and you don't have to worry about the Spire and the Flyer attacks or anything. There we go, hitting the drone count that we want, but definitely behind schedule in this game. Taking all the gas, good. One thing I like about this is that this base is oversaturated, so you're not going below 16 to fill these gaps. I'd rather this, something like this, than ever going under 16. This is much better. Yeah, we do get stuck a little bit there on the 4. I think we could have taken it earlier, though, just looking at the money. And here we just love to be massing Roach Hydra. Just waiting for these upgrades to finish. I feel like Protoss is just uncontrollably ahead, though. Because if you look at this army, if we look at the supply, like, yeah, it's close. And Zerg looks reasonable in that front, but Protoss just has all the gas-intensive stuff. 4 Archons, even now coming with the Templar and the Storm, Blink, +2 attack, and all these Void Rays and Immortals. Like, it's a very tough army. Like, you would need probably pretty close to maxed out Roach Hydra, with at least 1-1, maybe even 2-2, to deal with this type of army. Mutas really aren't going to help, unless you fly them into his main or something. But as you can see, like, most players are pretty prepared for that. And this player definitely has six Stalkers and a cannon there. Excuse me. I like the production, but again, at this stage in the game, this late, you want to be avoiding Roach Tech. They just don't scale that well into the late game. You want to be into the Hydras, maybe even Lurkers by this point. See, like, this actually looks really good, and you're killing a lot of his army on the retreat here. I still feel like he has the edge here. Like he's even going to be able to warp in a lot of units. But really, what's going to kill you is these Immortals and Void Rays, even the Archons. So here's where he turns. It's awfully close, actually. Just gonna slow down a bit. Awfully close, but yeah, now he has the Void Rays. He killed all the air, and your army's just going to absolutely melt at this point. Just because there's nothing in the air to contest the Void Rays. I think even it's close. Like you might just want to clean up this stuff, but then you kind of got to run. But look at this, though. It's actually kind of close. Damn. I wasn't expecting this fight to even go this close. But yeah, this army's just it's slowly getting whittled by these Void Rays. And that's it. And Protoss again takes the supply lead there. And we're back to the spot we were in, where Protoss is on even or ahead income. What do we have in terms of income? Probably need to just transfer this over to here a bit earlier, even some from the main. You want to prioritize these gold a little harder in your games. So I would say like you would probably just take 12 from this base right to here, and then maybe a couple more from here just to like gas it up and stuff. And then yeah, we probably want a few more workers as well, so that, you know, as you take the 12 from here, maybe you rebuild a couple for this base. One way to think about it is you want your 2 newest bases to be fully saturated. Like that's what you want to prioritize because they have the most money at them and they'll take the longest to mine out. Nice, keeping up the upgrades. Definitely want to get 2-2 coming, especially with the gas society. And here we go, we're into Muta production again, and we're just not going to have really the Muta flock that you need. You need like 30-40 Mutas. Maybe not that many, but a lot to really straight up contest with any kind of army. And I mean, even when it gets to this point, once they get the Archons, Mutas start to lose value, I feel like. Whereas Hydra-Lurker is actually really strong. Lurkers absolutely crush anything on the ground, and Hydras kill the Void Rays in the air. And again, still Roaches, still Mutas. These are the units that are scaling out as the game goes on. And then yeah, he's still adding on those really gas-intensive units, especially the Archons. And oh my god, this army looks so scary. Like he's even got the Storms, and this is where you're in a lot of trouble with this composition because, like, you can't first of all, you can take a wide concave to avoid some of the splash damage, but really you're never going to trade cost efficiently against this much splash, like 4 Archons and that many Storms. We'll see how it goes. So in theory here, if you knew, well, let's see, is he going to push? I have to assume he's pushing soon. Maybe waiting for his +3. Oh my god, even more of these splash. So here, yeah, like in theory, if you're taking this fight, you want to do it very cautiously. Like some units here, 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 like a really wide concave, just because he has the Archons and the Storms. Because all it takes is like 2 Storms and this whole army could be annihilated. Oh, that's a big one. That one too. So yeah, actually I think you had the right instinct there to pull back right away. I think that was the right choice. But now he's just layering the Storms on this army. And there will be no coming back. Like the supply again still looks fine, but just this army is not what you want against this type of competition. So yeah, this is gonna be pretty one-sided from here. I can see it's over soon. I want to go back to that engagement because, like I said, I really felt like you were way behind all game from the early stages, but still that Roach Ravager Muta timing when you were maxed out did really well. Surprisingly well, almost killed him. So I want to see what was so good. Speed up a bit more. Oh. Am I right back to where I was? Oh boy. Just trying to hit max. Okay, so here we go. Love that you have the Overseers here to kill his Observer. Honestly, this fight, I think, is what it was. I think he should have probably just fought right away. Oh, I see the Mutas kind of flanked it, so you're going to take out the Templar. Then you got to be really careful with these Mutas not to get annihilated by all these Archons. Yeah, I think he just felt like the Concave was bad. Like, I don't even know if his army really wants to be here, because it is such a wide open area. And this is like your strongest point where you've hit your max out. So I think that's why he's backing up here. But maybe you even could have... No, I don't think you can take the fight. I think your army is bigger. Just too scary for that wide open spot. And even here, like, it's so close, but you just don't really have enough to kill the Void Rays. And what really turned this fight in my eyes was that the Biles were able to land on the Void Rays and actually take them out, I think, somewhere really soon. Right about here. Yeah, those were like two, 3 Biles that really connected well on the Void Rays. And it looked close, but again, here's where everything started to turn. Like, we had the supply lead, he's pushed back, but the Void Rays are just doing uncontested damage for the rest of this fight. And they do so much extra damage to Armored. 10 damage so like 30 damage per second, basically, to these Roaches. And they're dropping fast. And yeah, it still looked close, but then he gets another warp in. Man, I really feel like if this was Roach Hydra, or if you had taken a bigger economic lead early, you could have won this game for sure. So I think we kind of need to make a choice of either we're going to go for the Roach timing harder in ZvP with the intention of really trying to win the game early, or we're just going to take the expansion, go into the gas, and get like a faster third. And play kind of a macro game with probably, I think, Roach Hydra as our go-to mid-game composition. I kind of just feel like taking over from this again because I enjoy doing it. Maybe I'll do it from... Well, I guess I'm doing it from here. So yeah, I don't really know whether you would prefer to see the macro style or to see like the Roach timing again. I guess I can do the Roach timing and still transition into macro. I'll do that. And we're going to see if we can hit a timing with these Roaches where we're like at his main a little earlier. So remember, want to transfer down to the expansion earlier. Kind of messed up there. Should have got the Queen first. There we go. And like I said, in ZvP, I don't think I would get the second gas. I don't think you really need it. I'll grab 2 drones for here, though. And the Overlords. And see, not taking this second gas, I really do get a lot more mineral income. And really, 200 gas is all I'm going to need. And you can see just how close, like how nicely this Warren is timed. And so we're going to go in the main first, build the Roaches here, and then build all the rest at the expansion. There's some Roaches. And like right away, these guys are hotkeyed, rallied out. And I'm just going to wait for this inject at the expansion to do it there too. So I'll make as many as I can, which is 3. That's fine. Some Lings. Notice I'm up to 60 potential supply. And I'm not sure around the time you saw the Phoenix and built the Spore, but I'll try to mimic that too. But the big thing here, even another Overlord. Lings. The big thing here is just moving out with these Roaches. You gotta get to the front. And you can see off this one gas, if I want, I can get at least one Ravager. So here I could drone or I could build more Lings. Let's do Lings. Just a few more. And then I'll rally to the main. Let's say about now I'm like, oh shit, there's that thing. I'll build the Spores. That thing. That aura thing. And see, like 420, this is perfect. And this is how you want to do it. This would have killed your opponent for sure. You would have broken those 2 pylons very quickly. You could be droning from here as you're engaging. And then easily you break in, you break this pylon, the Stargate's depowered, and you just flood and kill everything. Now let's talk about moving into the mid game. We're going to be droning really hard, not going to take the second gas for a long time in this matchup. I don't think you need to. Because instead, we're going to get that third, even before the lair, nice and early. Fully saturated the main already. Expansion's 12 out of 12. You can see just how much more money I've had this game because I hit that 12 at the expansion. Transferred down there quickly. Third on the way. Maybe about now I'll add some more gas. Evo chamber lair. I'm going just slightly under 16 here, but I have the drones on the way. So it's okay. Little blocks, so some overlords. Maybe rally him out a bit if he's not going Phoenix. +1. Maybe I'll get the +1 armor a little later. I haven't decided. And so I'm at that really nice point where we're fully saturated on 2 base. We got all the gas. We got the tech coming that we want. And like I said, your mid game is going to consist of some roaches, and you're going to get roach speed, but really I think Hydras you're going to love in ZvP. They're just really strong. I feel so safe once I get the Hydra Den in this matchup. So like right away, like I'm just, I want the Hydra Den, you know? And here, our third has finished. We're going to like right away saturate that base. Might rally the main back to the main. Lots of supply at this stage. I want to be way ahead. And then I'm just going to squeeze out some drones, but largely it's going to be Hydras soon. Do I have a third queen? No. So Hydra Den finishes. Up to you which one you get first. Probably the Hydra upgrade. Makes them faster, attack, and do more damage from a range. They don't actually do more damage, but the range just ends up having them do more damage in a fight. A couple more drones. Maybe the gases here. Maybe could have delayed those gases looking at the disparity. It's okay. And into some Hydra production. Because we went for such early aggression this game, we didn't have early queens to spread creep, so that's fine. It's just a weakness that we're going to have in this game. No real need to change it, I don't think. Oh, I forgot roach speed, didn't I? Now I'm at the point where I'm pretty close to saturated. 3 bases. I have all the tech that I want, almost. So +2, and I'll start the Evo chamber up. Second Evo chamber. Transfer some workers as they mine out. More Hydras. Lurker Den. You don't have to get the Lurker Den, but I think you should because it's really effective in this matchup. I'm not a Lurker fan. I try not to make them, to be honest, but in this matchup you can't deny it. They're just so good. Oh, should have an Overseer. Probably should have that earlier. Could get the Overlord speed, but I'll wait. See, this is what we really want. This nice mid-game of lots of Hydras. And at this point, like once I feel safe early on, I'm just going to be making mostly Hydras. I don't want too many roaches as the game goes on. That's kind of the point I want to emphasize, is you want your army to scale up as the game goes on. And this is how you do it, like keeping these upgrades going and focusing more on the Hydras and the Lurkers. So even here, like all this money and gas and stuff, it's pretty much all Hydras. And it's starting to get to that count of the Hydras where it's really adding a ton of DPS to fights. This base finishes, I'll make a round of drones for it. Maybe transfer a few. Yeah, just a few. Enough Overlords to max out. And here we'll make some lurkers. And at this stage in the game, if you're using all your gas for lurkers, you can actually switch into Zergling production. Definitely want to fully saturate the newest bases. Hydras, Lings. And see how much nicer this game is, or like this composition is, for dealing with something like a mass Void Ray Archon stuff, because you can keep it all spread out. And you take a big fight in the middle with this army, and you're nice and spread out, like you are going to slaughter anything. Try not to have a Ravager in here. I'm actually going to just kill it, because the reason is if this is all hotkeyed, you want to be able to burrow the lurkers. So like basically all I would do in a fight is this. I would just press R and just like take the fight as close to the lurkers as possible. Press R again to move forward. Big, wide, concave. Take little damage from storms, little damage from archons, and just keep the hydras alive, and they will do the work for you. They will crush his void rays and stuff. So I'm actually just going to open another game now and just kind of do a walkthrough of a standard safe approach to ZvP, just in case you want to move away from the early aggression. So I'll just do a walkthrough in a custom against elite AI or something. I don't really know what maps you veto. What the heck? I guess they just kicked me offline. Cool. Way to mess up my replay analysis, Blizzard. I'll do a standard map, like maybe not a Prion map where there's so much gold because it changes things a bit. I'll just do like standard macro on Orbital Shipyard. Standard safe macro. Watch me lose. I hope not. I don't know how good elites are. I know they have like some extra money and vision and stuff, I think. So macro-ZvP, the way I approach it is really the opening is going to stay the same. Hatch first with a quick gas and a quick pool. Keeps you nice and safe early. But if you remove from gas at 100, like you get your Ling speed, and remove from gas, you have that extra mineral economy to get a fast third. So you're really only on speedlings for a little bit. I don't even know where to rally. Overlords, that's not my strength in this game. Definitely not this map anyway, I just find it so weird. Just trying to get these drones to mine and like double mine when they come out so they're not bouncing all around. Hatch right away. Drone. Rally it. Like I'm rallying it to where I know I'm going to take the drone off for the gas on 18. Like that's the level. And then even this one, like I know it's going to build the pool. I know it's going to come out because I've done it a million times. And these little consistency things early on really add up, I feel like. Rallying to the patches that I know I'm going to take off because of the gas. 1, 2, 3. And then this last one. Boom. So these will all make 16 out of 16, and I won't have to touch these drones ever. Make sure they stick to the patches I want them to. Make sure it sticks. Wow, the returning drone might not. Oh, it did this time. Woo! Could squeeze a drone here. I'm just going to go all the way for 3 Lings because I like to be extra safe. My opponent's Zerg. It's supposed to be Protoss. Shoot. Oh. Lings, speed, queens. We pull out a gas, we bring them to the expansion because we're already perfect in the main. And then here we're just droning up the expansion. And we'll get our third probably about 3 minutes after a few more queens. What are these drones doing? Queuing up 2 more queens at 30 supply and then an overlord. And then I'll basically be taking my third. These 2 queens will inject once. They'll be hotkeyed to my creep queen hotkey, which is 3. And they'll spread a tumor right after. Third base by 3 minutes. Can we do it? Ah, perfect. I almost never get it, so that's actually nice. And then we keep droning the expansion. All minerals at this point, baby. All minerals. Scouting a little bit. I hope I don't get all in by the Zerg. That would really suck. Speed finishes, so you can make some more lings if you want. Refill the gas in the main, try to get full saturation at the expansion. I'll grab a roach warren around now. Keep spreading creep. Keep injecting. Adding some additional gas as I hit saturation. Personally, I like to get some roaches out right when the warren's done. I don't mess around. I don't want to get overwhelmed by adepts. Fully saturated the expansion up to 3 gas. I'll get my lair. And just power drones for the third unless I need to make lings and roaches, but I have tons of supply. So in a pinch, I can make tons of lings and roaches and stuff, but most times I won't need to. Got a spore, by the way. But really, we're just powering drones. I'll add all the other gases about the time I hit full 2-base or 3-base saturation. So pretty soon. Maybe even now I'll add these. Can build a big round of roaches and ravagers if I need to. Even now, building extra supply, not messing around with not having enough overlords. But really, I want to wait because I want to put my money into Hydras if I can. Fourth base, even if only for the larva. Gonna make some more roaches, don't want to get caught. But as you can see, here we go, and we're into that standard mid-game now of just really wanting to put money into upgrades and Hydras. And of course, I forgot my second Evo. Hydras, Hydras, Hydras. And this is about the time in the game where I start to feel pretty safe, like especially if I have my Overseer, maybe even like a Scout, Overseer Scout through the Protoss, the weird looking Protoss. But it's all Hydras. Maybe some drones for the new base. Where's those 2 extra drones? 1, 2. My Hydra thing done? Yeah. Gonna keep building Hydras, and around the time the Lurker Den's getting close to done, that's when I'm gonna stop building Hydras and just start dumping money into the Lings, because I want my gas to go into the Lurkers. Saturating my newest 2 bases, so in this case that's my 3rd and my... That's this base, right? The 3rd and my 4th. So I don't care if my main's fully saturated, I don't even care if this base is fully saturated, but I sure as hell care that this base is. About now, no more Hydras. Tons of Lings, because that's really all that I can build that doesn't take gas.
Mineral field depleted.
And when this Lurker Den finishes, because I've cut a little bit of that gas, or at least not built units that cost a lot of gas, I can make like 10, 12 Lurkers right away. I'm just kind of messing around here because I want to do this. Boom! Lings and Lurkers and upgrades. Maybe take another base here soon just to make sure I don't get stuck. Could even do 2. And then here we go. This is our mid game. This is what we want. Tons of Lurkers, tons of Lings, tons of Hydras, maybe some Roaches if you had them from earlier. But really you're not building additional Roaches once you hit like the 9-10 minute mark, because they just don't scale well. So here I'd like burrow from far away, see if there's some kind of engagement. And maybe like leapfrog a bit these guys, you know, like 4 of them can move up. Kind of keep my stuff spread out. And just crush them. Crush those weird looking Protoss. And you can see the money behind it, you just remax just Hydras, Lings, you can, if you want, move towards Infestation Pit and Hive and Ultras and stuff. But generally, this is all you need for mid-game. And most games you can just win with this composition. Unless you go Sky Toss or something where you really need Corruptors, this works pretty well. I'm actually just going to take a quick look, see if I have a replay of a macro game, like a Lurker game. Because if I do, that'd be worth looking at now. Bear with me, 2-3 minutes. I guess I could do this one. Macro or aggressive? Let's do the macro one since we just looked at. Since we just did a walkthrough of the macro build, it makes sense to stick with that theme. Now, I'm not 100% sure if I'll even open the exact same way in this game, but it will follow that step, and especially that mid game. Like, however the early game goes, I don't care at all. You gotta have that mid game of Lurker-Ling. And Hydras, of course. We'll speed through the openings, see what kind of build we go. Looks like hatch, gas. Oh, perfect! It's exactly the right build. I had it planned all along. I promise. Overlord, yet good. And the way it should look is some queens, some lings. And after that, speed is started, and a couple more queens will get the third base. Yeah, taking out a gas there at 100. And 8, apparently. Drones. Queue up 2 more queens at 30, and then another overlord. Drones. And a third base by 3 minutes. Woo! Powering nothing but workers here. No, actually making some lings. I guess I want to put on a little bit of pressure. Just make sure these adepts don't do damage. And you can always do this with like your first inject. Just mix in some lings. Actually going to help me here with these adepts for sure. Take no losses from them, so that's great. And should be right back, yeah, into the drones, into the overlords. Gas has been refilled. A little supply blocked here, and still no roach warren, so that's, there it is. A little late on these overlords and warren, but otherwise this is fine. Just going to take this time to take the additional gases because we're supply blocked. Try to poke in there with the lings, unfortunately, no cigar. So we just keep droning. Definitely, yes, going to build the spores. About 4 minutes, 4:15 is a great time to at least get the first one. Where did I get it? In the main? I kind of like this base because it's the closest to his. But I guess I'm just going to get 3. I don't mind it. Lair, about 4:30. That's usually what you see off of still 1 gas. Actually, sorry, no. It's up to the 3 gas because we took these ones. But we'll not add the 4th, 5th, and 6th gases until we've really hit a lot more on the income front. Now that the warren's done, by 5:30, we should see some roach production. Though we may delay it because we do have complete map control with these Zerglings. And oh, I don't think I saw that, and that's unfortunate. So if I knew that this was coming, I would just be building so many spores. Like spore here, connecting the bases, so that's safe. Spore like here, connecting these bases. Spore like over here, like everywhere. To make sure this doesn't do too much damage. But looks like it will. Yeah, gonna get some kills for free. Never what you want to see. Oh, this hurts me. So yeah, 6 spores in production. Just powering drones because I know there's nothing on the ground coming if he's built that many phoenixes. So I'm still going to have that goal of hitting the full 3 base saturation, but it's going to come late because I'm building a million spores, the Hydra Den, and all these additional gases. So like, if we look at the supply, I'm actually behind, but I don't really feel that behind in this game. Maybe a little, because I've lost so many overlords now. But we're doing reasonably well, especially if we can get our 4th up. That's what it really matters. Oh no, the queen! The 87 energy queen. Unfortunate. So here, notice I'm going right for the Lurker Den. I'm kind of like, well, this guy's being pesky. I might not even get the upgrade first. I might just go straight up attack him with Lurkers and Hydras and Lings. So as you can see, in this game, I got the Roach Warren as a defensive maneuver and in case he did some sort of really big adept push or something. But I only made 5, and I didn't make any more of these Lings or Roaches in the mid-game because really I emphasized the Lurkers and the Hydras. Still building drones. Yeah, this is why I want to saturate this base and even the main fully. So that's why the big round of drones instead of Lurkers. And can even see the 2 Evo chambers by now. See some Evos? Some Evos and can't quite get the 4th yet. This is an interesting game. Like, I feel like Protoss is a little bit ahead. And he's got his 3rd up already and all that infrastructure's coming. But, oh nice, I'm able to get this 4th. Though it's a lot harder to defend, so I might still take this one after. Should be seeing some Hydra production here. I guess just really gas gas intensive right now, like mineral starved. That's why we're waiting a bit. Oh, this is so unfortunate. I moved the spores over here, and of course he finds like the one spot where he can fly in, so maybe should have just kept the spore here and here to defend the mineral line. And realizing like, I gotta make some Hydras. And 1-1 for... gotta get that upgrade. It's so late. Fourth base? Nope. And he even killed this one with the Void Ray. So this really isn't going all that well. But the advantage I'm gonna have is just the Hydras and the Lurkers are gonna be very quick. And yeah, finally the 1-1. Good. Hydra upgrade after the Lurker Den. Still important to get it. And here we go. So this will be my fourth. And I gotta defend that because I will need the gases and stuff eventually. What's my opponent doing? Looks like he's gearing up to take a fourth as well. And just this usual composition of tons of immortals and a big gateway count. Ooh, wow. Even getting the Oracle at this stage in the game, which is interesting. Because he's going to use it to get vision of my army, I'm almost certain. With that Revelation spell. So again, that mid-game style, baby. Just lots of Hydras, lots of upgrades. Some drones here for this base, probably. I want to get the gases there, especially. So I can afford more Lurkers. Yeah, really going high on the Harvester count. Which is a little risky. Like, I think I probably should have some Lurkers on the field right now, just in case he pushes. Lots of Overlords. I think I lost a few still to these Phoenix. Okay, here we go. Lurkers. Yeah, this is the mid game. This is where you start to feel powerful with Zerg. Probably need some spores at this base just to defend these geysers. Ooh, we see Ling production. Actually, some drones. I don't mind that. See, saturating the newest base. Consistent theme. But Lings, will we see any, or will it be more just Hydra Lurker? Yeah, some Lings, good. And really should be pushing out about now. Yeah. We have the income we want. We have the army we want. We don't want to wait too much longer. Trying to dodge the Revelation. That's never gonna work. Yep, full vision. So now I'm like, okay, jig's up. He knows exactly what I'm doing. Gotta push. Don't want to sit here with Lurkers. That's a bit unfortunate. He does capture a couple of those Lurkers. But really, this trade should go pretty well. I got so many Lurkers, and his army is not that big. It's starting to get big. Where is all his forces? Is that everything? Feels like he should have more. I guess the 8 Immortals. Where are the 8 Immortals? Oh, okay, that explains it. So I guess he's trying to get like a flank so that all his Immortals can hit my Lurkers. But that's pretty optimistic. This is a very, very big Lurker count. And I don't know if you should really go for this straight up fight. So as you can see, just trying to get some of the Lurkers in the back to get up and help. I want to be a little careful with these Hydras, not to let them all die. But really just want to be attacking with all my stuff if I can. Pulling back to the safety of the Lurkers. And now that he's not pushing me, I'll probably move forward. Production. Hydras and Lings. Ah, yes. Lots of Hydras. Oh, if I can kill that, it'd be so nice. But, like, this is one of the reasons, these Warp Prism shenanigans, is one of the reasons I just tend to build some extra spores eventually. So that if he drops, he loses the Warp Prism. You can't just do constant damage. And really want to keep pressure in these middle stages. Don't just let Protoss do what they want. Get on them. Don't let that fourth live. Moving forward, leapfrog style, sort of. And as long as a good amount of the Lurkers are able to attack, I will take engagements with the Hydras. But I just don't want to go too far ahead with the Hydras and have them just fight alone. Reinforcements arriving. This is going to help a lot. I'm just going to speed through the end here because it's almost done. Again, yeah, you just want to be careful moving up to have not all of your lurkers moving at once and just getting killed. Like, you want to kind of protect them a bit better. Make sure they're able to attack if you're actually fighting your opponent and they're not moving or anything. But really, it's just a move. Maybe could move these back a bit. These Hydras, not tank so much hits. But it's just too much at this point anyway. GG. You know what, while I'm here, I'm just going to look at one more replay because it's fun. I love ZvP. And I haven't been playing much ZvP lately, so... which one was it? Yeah, this one. So this is actually the Hydra-Lurker-Ling opening. And then into macro after, I believe. So like I said, if you are going for early roaches, you have to push with them. You can't just do it as an opening into... a third or anything. It just you gotta push. You gotta do some damage. Force a response from your opponent at least. This was a 16 hatch, but it's almost literally the same thing as a 17 hatch. It's just a slightly earlier you get your queens. Gas pool, Overlord on 19. Everything the usual. Transferring down a good amount of workers. Look like 10. I like it. And then droning here. Notice just the one gas this whole time and adding the second one. So I'm actually not doing the advice that I gave you. I'm going for the straight up Roach Ravager style. 3 Overlords. Roach Warren. Speed's already on the way. And here we go. Should be the 4 Roaches here and then 4 Roaches here. All hotkeyed. Yes. And right away, rallied, and should be pushing out. Building Lings. Pushing out with the Ravagers. Will we build... Roaches, rather, but will we build... Yes, Ravagers with the ones at the front. Lings in production, tons of them. These injects, very key. And the real point here is we want to be still engaging by like 420, 430. We can't be hitting much later than that because that's when the Void Rays and the Immortals and the scary stuff comes out. But this is when Protoss really doesn't have a lot. So this is awesome as far as timings go, and even this is good. Like he used both of his spells over here, and the Biles are actually hitting both of the pylons, so they should die pretty quickly. Yeah, not too bad. And see, like, this is exactly the type of opening that you want to have as Protoss. Like, you want to be doing this, like, 3, 5, 6 gateway opening and be very defensive. And he had a lot of gateway units, more than most players would. And he's still getting kind of crushed here. Like, the pylons have forced him to be supply blocked. He's not able to warp stuff in. So as long as I'm able to kill these units, I'm in pretty good shape. Behind it, my transition is the Lurkers. Well, Hydra's first, of course, but really the Lurkers. So I'm going to be powering the drones here and going right into the lair. I'm not doing something like building much more Lings or Roaches, like slow Roaches. No, I want to advance my tech very quickly in this matchup. I would say, sorry, just to speculate and theorycraft a bit, I'd say there's 2 viable options as far as a transition from this point. Option 1 is exactly what I'm doing. Lots of drones, quick into the lair, and delaying things like the 3rd base in favor of getting this nice 2-base economy. That's option 1, definitely viable. Option 2 would be delay the lair, even delay some of the drones, delay gas, and get the 3rd base earlier, and really power 3-base mineral economy, and then take all the gases in the lair and stuff later. I hope that makes sense. Let me know if it doesn't. So this is so nice, killing all the pylons. This is the real theme that I want to emphasize against Protoss, is if you're doing this early aggression, you got to get there, got to kill the pylons, got to depower the structures and supply block the Protoss. And that's what's going to let you do this kind of damage to his income. And this is what we need. Remember in the game that you played, because you sat back at home, your opponent had like 30-something workers here and you were at like 22. And he was getting up to like the 40s of supply before you were really droning. But here we've actually stayed even in the drones. Working. And he has some nice tech, but nice thing is I'm going to be getting my tech really early too. And I'm going to be taking all these gases, powering workers, and I've pulled ahead, substantially ahead, in the income. Nice. And that Hydra den's so early that I'm going to be able to really easily defend any kind of counterattack because I just make Hydras and Lings, and Hydras do really well against really any mid-game Protoss attack. Hydra upgrade. There's the third base finally. Yeah, it's a bit delayed, but that's because I was favoring the tech and the gas in this game. And here's what I think you probably want to be doing if you're not spreading creep. At least just get a couple overlords spewing the creep to connect, like one here, 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 to your third. Doesn't take a long time to do that, and it will help you defend for sure. But here, if I could point out a big mistake, it's that I'm not building overlords here, especially like these drones before the overlords. Yeah. Luckily, Hydras just do so well against this type of push that it's really not scary. He's forced to pull back. But really, I should have built overlords earlier so that I was able to build a lot of units in a pinch. Like, this is great. Like, even though I'm not close to blocked, too close, I'm still building lots of overlords. And I think it's smart. Lurker Den could maybe be started. I like the 4th. I like the Evo chambers. Building a big round of drones that'll finally let me take all these gases without going under saturation. And I got this big army in the mid-game with lots of Hydras to deal with this kind of stuff. Though I'm a little out of position. Ideally, I'd be here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Little positional error. Luckily, he didn't get the hatch, so that's fine. He killed a couple workers, but still looking good. Lurker Den, yeah! Moving into that mid-game that we love so much. Hydras with speed, Lings with speed, some upgrades, and then Lurkers. What's our income looking like? A little lower than we want. We want into the 60s and 70s eventually. But not too bad. Yeah, and even adding some more drones, some more gas. Good. Lurkers, woo! This is where things start to get really tight. Already up to 10, so that's pretty nice. That's where you want your gas to go. Upgrades and Lurkers, not roaches in the mid-game. Even I'm making a strong argument against mutas in general. Unless you're really massing them, I don't think they're that effective. 2-2. Even the Infestation Pit. Fully saturating the newest bases, right? Common theme. Re-emphasize. And then should really just be pushing. Well, I guess could wait a little longer, get closer to maxed. Could theoretically wait for 2-2, but that's a long way out. Yeah, this is what I think should be happening. Burrow the Lurkers just outside of range and start to leapfrog them up. And just spread out the Hydras and Lings so they don't get completely annihilated on one side. But this is great. Oh, gotta dodge those a bit. As long as I kill this base, we're ahead. If I kill this base, we're even more ahead. And this is so dirty, just the way these are spread. Like, I'm not an expert by any means on lurker control, but I know this. If you can get a wide concave and Protoss has to move down this narrow area, it's not good for him, to say the least. Yeah, gonna be able to kill this base, and I just want to see it. Please move down. Please do it. Let's see how this goes. Do it. You can't do it. Like, just the rage quit. Okay. So, yeah, that's kind of my approach to the mid-game in ZvP, and I think regardless of whether you're going for early aggression, I think you're going to find a lot of value to a more Hydra-focused mid-game with those upgrades for them. And then if you're able to get to the Lurkers, like survive into the mid-game, get to the Lurkers, just having like 8 to 10, 12 of them, just using your extra gas for that, it's just so nice. It's so powerful against really any ground stuff that Protoss has, especially if you're hitting nice and early and not letting them get the death ball. That's so scary. Like, do not try to play very late game against Protoss. They're just too strong. but they're not too strong when you have lurkers in the mid game. So good luck. I hope this helps, and let me know if you have any follow-up questions. Have a good day. See you guys.